Hello everyone, it's Darcy Clark here today. I'm going to take you through a short practice to help relieve some tension in the neck, shoulders, upper back. So feel free to take a comfortable seat wherever you happen to be, whether you're on a chair or you want to get to the ground. I'm sitting on a bit of a folded blanket just to give myself a little bit of support. I'm sitting in a cross-legged position. Feel free to sit in any position that feels best and most comfortable for you, where you're able to find a little bit of length through the spine. If that means leaning against a wall as you sit on the floor, feel free to do that. You may need to come away from the wall for just a couple of the movements that we'll do, but feel free to start there. All right, so let's just begin resting the hands wherever they happen to comfortably land, on your legs or on the seat. And take a moment with your eyes closed. Just take a check-in with your body, how you sit here, feeling the points of contact that you're making with the support underneath you or behind you. And get a sense of your breath. Tune in to feel how it is. What is the nature of your breath at this moment? And try to allow the breath to flow through the nose. Breathing in and out through the nose as best you can. And start to feel the areas of your body that move easily as you breathe. You might notice some movements down into your belly with each breath. Can you feel how your belly moves naturally, effortlessly with the inhale? And feel how it moves with your exhale. Can you sense the movements of your breath up into the sides of your ribs and into the front of your chest? What do you feel as you inhale? Is there a gentle sense of expansion anywhere around the ribs? And do you sense a softening, a settling as you let out the breath? And again, try to allow the breath to flow freely, simply aware of its movements. And then if you still have your eyes closed, you can slowly let them once again open. And let's begin by bringing the chin down towards the chest. So lower the chin, but see if you can keep your shoulders from rounding forward. So noticing if the shoulders have come with you and see if you can move them back a little bit more. And then slowly lift the head again. And as you lift the head, let's keep going, lifting the chin, lifting the eyes, looking up. And then slowly looking down, lowering the chin towards the chest. So we'll find some movements here in the eyes as well. Look up towards the brow or beyond, lifting your head, lifting your chin, keeping it comfortable in the back of your neck, and then looking down as your chin lowers towards the chest. And you might, as you continue this movement, you might let it become more in sync with the rhythm of your breath. One movement can be the inhale, and one movement can be the exhale. As you raise your head and lift your chin, you might notice some stretch coming into the front of your throat. And as you lower your chin down towards your chest, notice how it feels in the back of the neck and the base of the skull. And then after you've lifted your head for the last time, let's bring it back to center. And let's turn the head to one direction, looking over one shoulder, and then looking slowly, turning the head to look over the other shoulder. And see if you can again feel this movement happening just from the shoulders up. So not including the shoulders. So above the shoulders, through the neck, through the head, you feel the movement, and the shoulders stay quiet. Shoulders stay relaxed. And then as you keep it going, next time you turn your head to that first position, let's pause there, keeping the head turned, finding a bit of a stretch here in the eyes as well. So looking with your eyes where there's no strain in your neck. Can you look further with your eyes in the direction you've turned your head? Pause here, feel your breath. Good, and then slowly you can let your eyes just go to wherever they'd like as you do these little nods of the head up and down. So again, try to keep the shoulders quiet as the head does a little bit of a nod yes while it's turned in this direction. And you can make these movements really small, or you can find a slightly bigger range. Do what feels good for you in your neck. That's it. And then bring your head back to center slowly. And we'll go to the other side. So turning the head in the other direction. And again, turning it to a comfortable position. Don't worry about how far your head is turned. And just turn it where you can basically keep your chin parallel to the floor for the most part. Resting your shoulders, letting them stay quiet and soft. And then stretch the eyes as far towards that side as possible. Stretching the eyes, getting some movement in the eyes. Sometimes when we're looking at screens all day, the eyes really don't get much in the way of movement. So let's give them a little stretch, some relief here. Feel your breath. And then letting your eyes return to a comfortable position wherever they'd like to be. Start to nod your head, keeping it in this gentle twist. So you're still looking beyond your shoulder, head turning in that direction. Eyes might go up and down as your head does. Nodding your head yes again. And this side could feel a little different. So be aware of that and changing your range of motion as necessary. Nice. All right, and then bring your head back to center, looking forward. Lovely. Then let's lower the ear towards the shoulder. Get a sense of how it feels on the other side of the neck as you do that. And then bring your head back up through center and over to the other side. And see if you notice some movement as you keep this head movement happening, side to side, ear towards shoulder. Try not to lift the shoulder towards the ear. So rather than doing this, keep the shoulders quiet and let the head rest in each direction. Just noticing the range of motion you have in each direction. It could be quite different from side to side, and that's perfectly normal. Letting your waist stay still as well, so the ribs aren't moving. The rest of your spine is staying quiet as you let the head rest to that first side. Let's be there and stay there for a couple of breaths. And what you might do is take the opposite hand and rest it to the floor. I've just got my fingertips just lightly brushing the ground beside my hip. You can even walk your fingertips slightly further back. It doesn't take much movement at all here to feel this stretch intensify. So keep it a nice, comfortable stretch for yourself, letting that shoulder that you've tilted your head away from to settle a little further down and back. And then while you're here, you can explore really small movements of the neck. So keeping your head tipped to the side, ear towards the shoulder, you can turn to look more away from the ground towards the side or the ceiling, and then back and turning your chin towards that shoulder. So moving your head in a bit of a no shape, a bit of a no movement. Turning your head to the left and to the right, but really in this trajectory with your head tilted to the side. So really doesn't matter how big the movement is, If it feels better just to hold it, your head still, be there. Okay, and then relax your arm again and bring your head to center. Just pause for a moment in the center. Notice how each side of your neck feels after that. It can be quite an intense difference. Let's take a moment here. Feel a full breath in and a full breath out. And then slowly let your head tip to the other side. So again, notice if your whole body has gone with you, and see if you can keep the movement above your shoulders, just through the head and the neck. Shoulders stay balanced and level, ribs stay level, waist stays long through both sides. And then while you've got your head tipped to one side, ear towards that shoulder, the other hand can come to the floor, stretching that arm down from the shoulder and maybe even a tiny bit back behind it. Encouraging that opposite shoulder to move back towards the wall behind you and down away from the ear. Noticing how this side feels for you. And as you keep your head tipped to the side, ear towards the shoulder, you can start to move the head a little down. Chin moves more towards that shoulder, and then chin moves away from that shoulder. And for me on this side, I feel like I have a slightly smaller range of motion comfortably, so I'm not going to force the movement to be any bigger. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, and it likely is not exactly the same on each side. So just noticing that for yourself here as you find small, comfortable movements or choose to stay still. All right, nice. And then slowly release that hand back and bring your head to center. All right, really good. Let's go for some movement through the shoulders. Let's roll the shoulders forward and up and then back and down. And my hands are just naturally moving on my legs as I do this because, of course, my hands are attached to my shoulders through my arms. So as my shoulders come forward, and my hands will come forward. As my shoulders go back, my hands will go back. So you might even notice that for yourself. And if the hands aren't moving, that's okay too. It just means maybe there's a little less movement in the shoulders for you today. All good. Let's see if you can let the hands relax. Let the arms relax. Let the neck and the head relax. So now we're not moving the neck and the head. We're moving the shoulders, the shoulder blades. All right, nice. And then resting there. Keeping the hands wherever they happen to be, whether I'm just going to shift a little bit, and you feel free to shift as well anytime as you're here. All right, so I've got my hands on my knees. If you're sitting in a chair, you might want to take your feet wider for this, towards more shoulder width apart. So you can rest your hands on your knees as well, having them a little wider than your hips. And then we'll just start to find some circular movement in the upper body. So what I'm doing is finding a bit of a circle, rotating towards one knee, coming forward, over towards the other knee, and moving back. Good. And see if you can keep your head pretty much right above your shoulders. Feel like you're leading the movement a little more through the waist, through the ribs. So rather than leading with the head and the eyes, like I am doing right now, try to let the head and the eyes just follow the movement of your upper body. So can you feel more the space around the ribs and the upper waist? Let some movement come through there. You might even try to arch the back and then round the back. Feel the shifts of weight happening around your hips as you do these circles with your upper body. So before we get dizzy, let's pause for a moment and switch the direction, circling the other way. And as you feel these movements, just noticing what areas of your body are moving. Let's try to also be conscious of your breath. How is it moving? Can it stay fluid and smooth? And again, finding these movements within your comfortable range of motion here. Good, let's go for one more. And then coming back to center. All right, lovely. Let's take both hands to the floor or to the edge of your seat or armrests. And sitting up fairly tall here, just get a sense of your spine's length, head above your shoulders, shoulders above the hips. And let's simply move the arms with the breath. As we inhale, let's lift the arms up, maybe lift the gaze and look up a little bit. As you exhale, just bring the arms wide and down. Breathing in, stretching up, looking up. Exhale, reach wide, sweeping the arms down. And if your arms don't lift as high as I'm lifting mine, that's okay. Just go only as far as it feels good in your shoulders. Breathing in, arms raising just as high as it feels comfortable for you. Exhaling as the arms go down. Let's get a sense of this movement happening in your shoulders while the neck stays long, the spine stays long in the center. Moving for one more breath here, finding your inhale and feeling your exhale. And then let's lift both arms just out to the sides, wide like a T shape. And we'll go to one side and lift the other arm just as high as it feels good. And then all the way over to the other side, lifting the opposite arm. So moving side to side so we can get some movement into the sides of the waist and the sides of the ribs. And just see if you can keep your belly and your chest facing forward as you find these movements. Can go at a pace that feels good for you. If you want to go slower than I'm going or faster than I'm going, do what you can do with some consciousness and awareness, with the breath flowing still steadily and calmly. Let's pause over onto that first side. We'll pause there and enjoy some stretch for a moment into that side. So the hip you're stretching away from, can you rest more weight into it? Rest it into the floor. And then stretch a little further out from that hip, lengthening through the side of your waist. Get a sense of that stretch coming into the side ribs and letting your head and your neck also feel some length in this as well, even with the arm stretching. And again, if the arm doesn't feel good being that high, just keep it at a better angle that works for you. Feel one more breath where you can be. And then you can push into that other hand to help you come back up. Just take a moment in the center. I like to pause before we go to the other side. Just get a sense of how each side feels. Bring both arms out wide again. Going over to the other side, resting your weight into that one hand while the other arm finds some stretch. Resting into the hip you're stretching away from. And just notice if you're really striving and pushing and pulling into this, and maybe back it up a little bit. Can you keep things a little easier, a little softer? Can you still feel your breath flowing freely and smoothly while you enjoy these sensations of length and space into the side body? Good, and then come on back to center. I'm gonna give my legs a little shake and reposition them in a different way. And then, once again, let's bring both arms out to the sides and start to twist. Turning in one direction, the hands can come to the ground to land. Arms open and twisting in the other direction. So I like to breathe in to center, exhale into the twist. Inhale, center, and exhale into the twist. And again, just letting this movement come without any sense of force. Letting the head follow the movement as the ribs turn, as the chest turns, the shoulders follow, the head goes last. And then again, as we return to that first side we turned towards, let's pause into that twist. Just rest the hands wherever they happen to. The front hand doesn't have to go all the way to the opposite knee. It can even stay on the same knee as you turn. What matters is you find a bit of length up the spine through the center as you're feeling some gentle twist and stretch, maybe into the back, the ribs, a little bit through the neck as well. You can turn the head comfortably. Feel this for another breath here. Good, and then come on back with the inhale, arms open, and exhale, twisting to the other direction. So turning in the other direction, noticing how it feels on this side. Again, try to resist yourself, pulling yourself around further with your arms. And you might even just relax the hands, relax the shoulders more, and feel the twist through the middle, through the ribs, up through the chest. Shoulders turn, head turns comfortably. And just noticing and feeling the nature of your breath as you're here in your twist. And then as you breathe in, come on back to center again, releasing the arms out. So if you're sitting in a chair or if you're sitting on the floor, stretch out the legs in front of you. If you're sitting in a chair, you'll want to come a little bit towards the front of your seat so that you can stretch out your legs, straighten them, bring the backs of the heels to the floor so your toes and your knees are pointing up to the sky. You can take the hands either to the floor or the seat behind you. Lift and open up a little bit more through the chest here, and then see if you can come forward as though you're trying to bring your belly towards your thighs. As your belly comes towards your thighs, then you might be able to bring the hands to your legs. You might rest them on your shins or on your thighs. It doesn't matter how far down they go, just enough to feel a gentle stretch, maybe coming into the backs of your legs, especially as you keep your heels pushing forward, toes pointing up. That's it. And you can allow for a really gentle release to come into your back. Letting your head relax forward. Just try not to let your head hang a lot lower than your shoulders. So keeping some integrity through the spine here as we enjoy some length through the back. Let's breathe. Can you sense the breath's movements into the backs of the lungs? Maybe a little easier here. Be there and follow another full breath, softening your belly as you're here. Try not to let yourself pull or push your way in any further than you naturally go. Be where you are and feel your breath. Good. Slowly start to walk your hands back up the legs, maybe pressing more into the heels. That's it. Bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. And if you're sitting on the ground, you can lean back and just do a little windshield wiper of your knees. We didn't do a lot for the hips or legs today, but because we were sitting fairly still, I just thought this would be a nice way to end. Get some little blood flow, circulation into the hips and legs. And maybe next time we'll do more for them. All right, thanks a lot for joining me. I hope you feel better. Hope you stay safe and healthy, everybody.